Bray Wyatt trends after a creepy WWE vignette airs, the original Money in the Bank plans possibly revealed, and a former AEW talent makes their Impact debut. It's all in the wrestling news right now. Money in the Bank wrapped up just a short while ago. Did you notice Bray Wyatt start trending on the Twitters during the show?
I certainly did. A lot of people speculating that Bray Wyatt is soon to make his return to the company following that very creepy vignette that aired at Money in the Bank. However, it's not looking that positive, to be honest. I can understand why people thought it, because it's creepy, it's spooky, and spookiness is synonymous with Bray Wyatt. Nobody else has ever been spooky in wrestling. However, if you break down that vignette, you will see during it shots of Jeff Hardy's armbands next to some Dudley Boy's glasses with the tape down the middle, a Latino Heat license plate, and Olympic gold medals too. So it's Gable Steveson. It's not. It's from what I can make of this is Edge returning. These are all big Edge feuds. You've got the brilliant tag stuff with the Hardys and the Dudleys. You got Latino Heat. They had that banging match on SmackDown, really sort of set the SmackDown 6 on fire. Yeah. And then obviously the big feud with Kurt Angle with the shaving and all that stuff as well. So it trended, and that's grand. People really, really are desperate to see Wyndham back, and understandably, because he's class, but it doesn't look like it's happening. No,
WrestleVotes tweeting basically that. Don't get overly excited about that vignette.
Too late, unfortunately.
Too late. We already lost our minds doing the live reactions. Wyatt tweeted on the 31st of May, "Patience, it's almost time," which therefore...
Is it?
Depends which time zone you're in, which kind of suggested that, maybe this is connected to the two. I must admit that when we did the live reactions, which you can watch back now, we did sort of freeze frame all of that and go, that looks like a glove, that looks like his shoe, but then you missed the obvious stuff, like the armband, like the glasses. The Latino Heat, like I freeze framed on the car edge, and I was just like, Latino Heat. It's like, when did Bray Wyatt feud with Eddie?
Do you not remember?
I did think maybe this is a Dominic heel turn.
Did you?
Yeah.
I think if you look, because Edge's initial initial vignettes before he debuted is him walking about the streets in front of all the graffiti and stuff like that. There's a bit of that in there, and if you look at the body of the guy, don't get me wrong, I think Bray Wyatt is apparently he's lost a lot of weight from the pictures that we've seen of him, but unless he's lost 100 pounds, it doesn't look like Bray Wyatt in those shots. But hey, we'll see. It could be absolutely anyone. It might be Bray Wyatt. We might eat our words. I don't think we will.
We think we know him. We'll find out soon, I guess.
What's he like?
Let's talk a bit more Money in the Bank. Of course, we'll go into greater detail on the show with what happened at, which is now on the channel from Jack, and the WTF moments from Ross as well. But we saw a big shock win for Theory.
Yeah.
To win the whole thing. But it kind of wasn't meant to go that way.
No, it wasn't. The original plans have seemingly been revealed once again by our friends from WrestleVotes, posting on Twitter before the pay-per-view, saying, "Spoke to a source in Vegas just now about tonight's Money in the Bank. Their words to me were, this show is a far cry from Cody winning the briefcase in an NFL stadium. However, they are confident it will deliver." So we'll break that down a little bit now. First of all, they're alluding to the fact that Cody was indeed meant to win Money in the Bank. I think a lot of us expected that. Cash in on Roman at some point, maybe cash in ahead of time and say, I'm doing this at WrestleMania. That would have been the match. We might still get that. We don't know. However, they are confident it will deliver. I thought it was all right.
Yeah, I thought it was. Yeah, I mean, what we were meant to get, I think they are so keen to make Money in the Bank one of these key WWE pay-per-views of the year. I mean, to many it already is. And they're keen to do more shows in stadiums. And I think by putting Money in the Bank in a stadium, it would have galvanized it as one of those key events of the year. But then that didn't end up happening because of not only injuries, but then people not being available for the show.
Ticket sales. People weren't asked, were they?
So they just moved it back to an arena as opposed to a stadium. I think I would love the idea of seeing Cody winning the briefcase in a stadium, but of course, the universe had different ideas in 2022.
Yeah, it's a shame,
and we
isn't
got
it?
what we got. It's an interesting one. I mean, you'll have your thoughts on it, and you'll let us know in the comments below. I know that watching it live, there was a general feel that it wasn't one of the best shows that the company's put on.
No, I thought it was all right. The Theory thing, I know he's a heel and I'm meant to be peed off about it, but I was just like, him getting added last minute by Adam Pearce Just do it like it's why I thought this was leading to John Cena coming back tonight and setting up a SummerSlam match, but apparently that might be pushed all the way back to Mania. Anyway, what I thought was going to happen is like Theory looks like he's going to win the briefcase and then Cena comes out off the top or something like that. But instead it was just a big Healy win to close out the show. Fair enough, whatever. I thought it was a bit underwhelming.
I don't mind Theory winning it, and I think there's enough storyline stuff that you can put in there. I would have liked to have had a vignette backstage of either Theory attacking, say, Moss to take their place, or Theory in full crybaby mode bursting into Vince McMahon's office.
Yeah, something. Maybe we'll get that on Raw. I agree.
Because that's the story there, is that Vince could have just added Theory to the match, which is what they alluded to on commentary anyway. I'd like to have maybe seen that played out a little bit.
Felt a bit last minute, didn't it? I'm not sure that was the plan going in. One thing that was absolutely fantastic, though, Liv Morgan doing the unthinkable and not just winning the Money in the Bank match, but then cashing in her briefcase on none other than Ronda bloody Rousey.
Yeah, so the opening match of the night was the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match won by Liv Morgan, and it was after the Ronda Rousey Natalia match, which Ronda showed some sort of flicks of heelness, which I was delighted to see. Like, there was a point where she put a sharpshooter on Natalia on Bret Hart's birthday, of all days. And as she put the sharpshooter on, she did the Shawn Michaels pose. And I'm like, that's the Ronda I like. Give me more of those, you
It's a lot more interesting, because I don't know who we're even meant to root for here. I know that there's no, a babyface heel dynamic. Hey, it's blurred lines now, it's shades of grey and all that stuff. But going into this, I was like, oh yeah, Natalia's pretty right in everything that she's saying here. I kind of want to cheer Natalia, but she's the bad guy here. I don't want to cheer Ronda.
She promised to make a tap out with a rack out, and I was all in for that.
Yeah, me too. But I don't know. It was an all right match again, but the great thing is Liv Morgan has finally done it. It could have even happened last year. It feels like this has been a long time coming. Well, it has been a very long time coming. I'm buzzing for her.
Now it's coming around, and Liv Morgan is the SmackDown Women's Champion.
And it looks like she wasn't going to do it as well. Because like Ronda locked her in, and I was just like, oh no, don't have her do that. And immediately my brain's going like, oh, okay, no, this is all right. People are going to get behind her more. I'm glad she won. I'm glad she won.
She absolutely had to win there. And congratulations to Liv Morgan, your new SmackDown Women's Champion. More on Money in the Bank in what happened at, and the WTF moments a little later on.
Naomi bigging her up, by the way. Yeah. On Twitter, she posted just a little green love heart. Obviously, Naomi's not been very active on social media since it all kicked off, but it's nice to see that Liv is so loved by those backstage.
So many times,
not backstage anymore. But.
Well, yeah, but she's not, but other people are. But there's so many times where Liv Morgan has like thrown herself into a role, and that role, that storyline has crumbled, but not because of anything she's done.
No, totally.
And that really sucks on multiple occasions.
Yeah, she always gives it her all, and she's somebody that, as a viewer, you can just see the effort that she's put in and the improvement that she's made. She's bloody class. I'm chuffed for her. I hope Randall goes away for a little bit. She won't. She's going to be at SummerSlam, isn't she? Probably. But I hope she goes away for a bit and just doesn't take it back. That would be upsetting.
Now, whilst Money in the Bank was taking place, Impact were taping their shows for the next couple of weeks. Now, if you are an Impact fan, you might not want to know what's going to happen. You might want to just let it happen week by week. If so, this is where we say goodbye. Thank you very much. What happened at? Don't do the one finger. It's all right.
That's just an Isle of Wight thing.
That's an Isle of Wight. Oh, is that hello?
That just
Isle
means
of Wight?
Big respect.
Oh, well, big respect to you.
Impact fans.
Big respect to you. That's an eye for Impact. You can check back later on for what happened at WTF moments and all that stuff. Stay safe. Love you. Bye. Cool, you're still here. Who turned up at Impact?
Bloody hell, it's a former AEW star. This is quite, it didn't take long at all. It didn't take long. It's Alan Angels debuting for Impact Wrestling. He's recently left AEW. He's going to be working on a per appearance basis. So we might not have seen the last of him. And hey, the forbidden door's open between those two companies anyway and all that. But he's there facing off against X Division champion Speedball Mike Bailey as well. Nice. So that would be a banger of a match. Obviously, we've not seen it yet, but that's pretty exciting, isn't it? Good for him.
I'm hearing that Angels was offered this per appearance thing with AEW, and I don't know how keen he is to follow up on that.
I don't know why he wouldn't want to do it, and unless he's a bit upset that he's not been kept on proper. If he's going to go away, maybe he'll get signed full time to Impact. I don't know. Maybe he'll do indies and stuff just by sticking around in AEW, it elevates your worth, doesn't it? That's what I think a lot of people forget about, like anybody that's any major company, but like with these AEW things, and they're trickling away now, aren't they? Some of the originals, some of them have been there for a long time, since the start in many cases. They're not having their contracts renewed. So yeah, that's true, and that sucks for them. But their names are worth more by having been part of AEW. They're worth more. You know, their indie dates it'll be easier for them to get booked. They'll demand a higher price tag, so good for them. And I think it probably makes sense for him to stick around if he wants to. Maybe he doesn't though. Maybe he knows something that I don't.
Impact's a good place for a lot of sort of wayward souls and sort of misfit toys to go and ply their trade.
That should be their tagline. Forget cross the line for the losers.
No, it's not what I meant.
No, they're
it's
great.
Those,
they're
it's
great.
those that maybe haven't found their true voice, who are looking for the new sound, and they can do that in Impact Wrestling and sort of find. Like Steve Macklin is an amazing example of that.
He's really
Steve
good.
Macklin, who was kind of seen as 1/3 of the Forgotten Sons, Forgotten No More, very much doing his thing as Steve Macklin, and I hope Alan Angels has the time to do something similar there. But we will see. Time will tell us very soon what will happen. More wrestling news throughout the day at cultaholic.com. Stay safe. Love you. Bye.
And what happened at in WTF on the channel now and then very soon? Because I don't think you mentioned it.
Did I not?
Only about 4 times. See ya.